right, everybody, I'm between you, drinking and dancing. So first of all, thank you for everybody that had something to say about Nicole. I genuinely appreciate it and appreciate everybody coming here this evening. All right, so what I wanted to do is spend a few minutes giving a little bit of color and perspective about my wife. No, it'll be more romantic than in your face. Give me a little credit, Kevin. Give me a little credit. All right. So let me talk a little bit about my amazing wife. Who everybody knows I call her P, which stands for princess. Right? So, my amazing mama P. So there are so many things that I could say about my remarkable wife Nicole. Just so many things. And as I was thinking through what I would possibly discuss this evening and try to keep this to less than 45 minutes, was to really break it down in the theme that came through the most in what was going through my head. And the theme was around the word beauty. So what I'd like to discuss today are basically 3 areas of beauty as it pertains to my amazing wife. So beauty on the inside, beauty on the outside, and then the beauty in our relationship. So those are the 3 areas. So let's start with beauty on the outside, because my wife is pretty damn hot. And it also frames up the story in terms of where we came from and how we got together. So let's break this down a little bit, because a lot of you don't know the sordid history of the past of Nicole and I. So I met Nicole for the first time almost 23 years ago this year. And when I met her, we were both working for AT&T. And actually, Joe Palazzolo was in the group that I was in. We were working together at the time. And I was on this fast track program, so you'd go from basically role to role in the company for about a year and a half. And I was put on a project where we were going to roll out the largest Salesforce automation platform that's ever been conceived. And so moved from sales side to doing some IT stuff. And I represented the sales organization along with Joe, and Nicole was on what was called the PDS side, which is basically the IT infrastructure side. And so we ended up in Orlando, Florida. This is 1996. And we ended up in Orlando, and we were at this bar, and I met Nicole for the first time.
At a bar?
At a bar. This is shocking. I know, incredibly shocking about it. There was no fireball at that.
Come on.
Now, I will tell you, I met Nicole, and it's a little cheesy to say this, but this is just how it was. Literally, my knees were shaking. I'm like, this woman just is off the charts. I mean, literally, like, amazing. And I will tell you, she has these amazing blue eyes, and I swear to God, they could see through me. Right? So it was one of these things where I was like, just blown away. Now you're thinking this is going to be, wow, great story now. They're married for a long time and everything's great. Alas, no. So at this moment in time, I'm actually engaged to be married. And get married. I know, the plot thickens a great deal. So I get married, and Nicole is living with her boyfriend. Also does not bode well for me at this juncture. So, very interesting. So Nicole and I, we strike up a relationship. We become more and more friends. It's really just more friends. Nothing inappropriate. Seriously, nothing inappropriate. None of that. But what happened is, as our relationship developed, it was just the greatest thing. I remember, we'd go to lunch. I was in Bridgewater, New Jersey, with AT&T. And you were in, I think, Liberty Corner at the time. So, the Liberty Corner office. Nicole would come pick me up at the Bridgewater office, and we'd go to this Chinese place in Bridgewater, and you were in your purple Acura, which I'll never forget. That was a bright purple. It was so New Jersey. Anyway. So Nicole would pick me up, and we'd have lunch, and it was just more about slowly becoming friends and work colleagues. Then if you believe in fate, which I do, if you believe there's a higher power, if you believe that there's someone dialing the knob somewhere upstairs, somebody absolutely intervened. So time goes on, I end up getting divorced. Nicole. Yay! don't know if I like that too, but okay.
That's your ex-wife.
That's right. So time goes on, and so I end up getting divorced, and Nicole is separated from her boyfriend. They end up not getting married. So thank goodness. So what happens from here? So I end up moving to California, like beautiful California, because .com thing is happening. You got to be part of this wave. I joined a startup. Phil Connolly over here was the CFO of the startup that we did at the time, as the first one that I've done. And I came out here because I wanted to start my life all over again. And as fate would have it, there's this beautiful blonde that happened to also move out to California to start life all over again and work for the same startup.
How did that happen?
I have no idea.
I hired her.
Phil hired. So we ended up, after a couple months, it was pretty quick actually. A couple months, we were sitting there leaving work one day, and it was, how you doing? I grabbed some dinner. So we ended up grabbing dinner, and that turned into just this wonderful, amazing life that we have together.
Nice.
Now, I could go on and on about beauty on the outside, and I will not go there. I just remember things like your wedding dress, which was like freaking candy when you would touch it. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And you kept apologizing about how much the dress cost. And then when I saw you in the dress, I really had no issue with the cost of it. I remember that. I remember the red top that you wore on our first date, which I'll never, ever forget. I know you still have that top. And so we'll conclude the beauty on the outside. So I think it's irrefutable that Nicole is remarkably beautiful on the outside. But the beauty on the inside is something that is equally unparalleled. Now, we all know, we've heard from a lot of people tonight about Nicole's heart, compassion, the way she thinks about things, the way she takes care of people. And many of you were here, especially folks that are Castlewood members, for the event that Nicole hosted this summer for her niece and nephew, or our niece and nephew. And we have a niece and nephew that are both special needs, and it's something that's remarkably taxing for Nicole's family. And so, you all just saw a hint of what makes her special. Nicole is the matriarch of her family, so she really is she was the grand poobah that runs the show for the whole family. She is the rock, and a lot of people who don't know this as well, comes from a very, very humble background. So, where Nicole and I are from, so where I grew up in New York, success was basically becoming a cop in the city. So you want to be like Billy and Tommy and Pat and everybody that became, and Jimmy, that all became cops in the city. And in Nicole's case, it was really just about getting out of your house and getting married, right? So I grew up in New York, Nicole grew up in New Jersey. On her 18th birthday, Nicole left her house, so she moved out of her house. Her parents were divorced when she was 2 years old, and her mother remarried to a Jehovah's Witness. So most of her childhood was dealing with this very fascinating religion. Now, a lot of you don't know this. So Nicole actually previously didn't have birthday parties. So one of the reasons why I wanted to have a birthday party is because if you're a Jehovah's Witness, you can't have birthday parties. You don't have Christmases, right? So we go out of town, or just completely out of town on Christmas and all these holidays because she wasn't allowed to have them when she was a kid. So she grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, moved out, and she became the first person in her family to go to college, and she paid her way through college and made that happen. And it was incredibly. And so she wanted more in her life, and I wanted very much the same. And I was very fortunate to have parents that wanted the same for all three of their boys. And so she always wanted more and made that happen. But it's always about giving back and doing the right thing for her family. And I'll give you one example of this. So we're married for about a year. And she goes back to New Jersey to see her family, see her mom in particular. And her mom at the time is in a very, and I have to be careful what that says, in a very dysfunctional relationship. Let's put it that way, with her boyfriend at the time. Not good at all. And is on the verge of filing for bankruptcy. So, a year into our marriage, we don't have kids, life is great, we're seeing the world, we're having a great time. I get the phone call, which basically starts with, hey, here's the status on mom. And by the way, I'm taking her back with me now. Oh, that sounds good, honey. Excuse me? What? Like what? So what's going on? She explains a little bit. Mom gets on the plane, and then her mom moved in with us. And because the deal is, no matter what, family, whether it's her literal family, blood family, or everybody that's in this room, is someone that means so much to her that she has to take care of them. So her mom moved in, and I'll tell you, I love it. I absolutely loved having Lorraine living in her house because Lorraine is an amazing cook, and coming from an Italian family in New Jersey, I would come home every day, I was treated like a king. It was the greatest thing ever. And then at one point, they almost killed each other. So Nicole takes care of me, she takes care of her family, she takes care of her ladies, she takes care of our babies, the ones we've had previously, the ones we have now. And is just an absolutely amazing person, and seems to take care of everyone because her heart demands it. Which leads me to the final area, which is the beauty of our relationship. Now, it goes without saying that Nicole makes me a better person, and just because I can say it, I think I make her a better person too. When I look at our journey together, it's just been remarkable. And it's a little different, right? We don't have kids, so part of our life is really about how we give back and help other people. And we both strongly believe in that. So we have a little bit of a different, unorthodox life in that respect. You know, I think back, I had a period about approaching 7, 8 years ago. So I came home from work, and I told Nicole, I was working for Juniper Networks at the time, and the CEO, who Scott knows as well, the CEO said, Doug, I really would like you to move to Asia. And this is the time right after the tsunami hit Japan. And he said, I need somebody that we trust to actually go over there and run the region. And I said no several times. And he came back basically with an offer that there was no possible way to refuse, like literally no possible way, including relocating her mom back to New Jersey and taking care of everything on the family side. And so I left the office one day and I called Nicole and said, guess what, we're moving to Hong Kong. And this was it sounds great now, and looking back on it is phenomenal, but this is a place where Nicole had never even been to Asia, right? We've been to Europe, we've done other things together all over the Caribbean, never actually been to Asia. So this happens, it's a Thursday, I have to be there Monday. And we're now on our way and going. And first visit out, we were deciding between living in Singapore and Hong Kong. We get to Singapore, Nicole's in tears in the hotel room. I don't think I can do this. This is way too much. I just don't know. And because she's such a team player, she jumped in and just said, fine, we're going to do this. And embraced this like I've never seen. And so if you look at the time that we had in Asia, it had a profound influence on both of us personally. And so I look at the time period, and the impact that it had on her was just amazing. So we were members at Castlewood before we left to go to Hong Kong. And Nicole wasn't a Castellette. Most of you didn't even know her. I would come up here, I was learning how to play golf. I still suck at golf, but that's a whole other topic. And as I was looking at my experience at Castlewood, it was, hey, you pay, and so dragon boating in China in particular is like a religion. Just to show you, when they have the Dragon Boat Festival, like banks are closed. The city shuts down and everybody goes to the races. So when we were there, Nicole and her ladies with the American Women's Association were racing and made it all the way to the Dragon Boat Finals, which takes place in Hong Kong on this lovely holiday. And so envision this. You have a group of American women, a lot of tall, white, badass ladies. Then you have the French team, the Australian team, and 6 Chinese teams. And to everybody's surprise, the crazy white ladies from the United States of America actually won the championship. And that experience changed her life, and just the way Nicole thinks about things. She came back, and we moved back, and it was immediately, hey, how do I get into this club thing? So what do we do here? Do I join these 18 holders, or do I join the 9 holders? The 18 holders were very serious. So that was not going to happen. So she made the right call. She made the right call. And then, as part of this, so this really changed her life as well, right? So she never would have embraced this before. Nicole is speaking in front of people. she actually did DJ Courtney's wedding, which was absolutely amazing, right? The Nicole that I married never would have done that. And I think her growth just in the last 15 years since we've been married is just absolutely remarkable. So I could go on and on about Nicole. I'll conclude the beauty in our relationship part with the aspect which is I call levity in my life. So, and some of you won't believe this as well that know me here from the club, but so from the time I was about 27 years old, I was in fairly senior positions in the companies that I worked for. So I tended to be remarkably serious, which again, those of you who play golf with me now probably don't believe this, but from being at a young age and having to take things so seriously all the time, I always made it where my career, success, and so forth was always really one of the most important things. It was that and Nicole, but really it was always about success. As Joe will tell you, when I was 27 years old, I would tell him that I will be a CEO of a company someday, and it's just how do I chart out the path to get there. And so that made me too serious. There were times where I literally would go sometimes years without even drinking because I didn't want anything to get in the way of impacting my ability to grow from a career perspective. But what Nicole has done is she brings a levity, a spirit of fun and a joy to my life that is really, you can't even quantify it.
And made you drink.
No, she didn't make me stop. So, no, all joking aside, I will have a crazy day, and Kyle, who's the founder of the company that I run, he's here, he knows this. You have a knockdown, drag-out board meeting on a given afternoon on, say, a Wednesday, and you have to then prepare for the next day to go back on Thursday and just start doing things all over again. At 10:30 at night, I'd be there, a beautiful summer night. Honey, I gotta go to bed. I gotta be up at 5:30. I gotta go to the gym and be in the office by 7:45 for this meeting. It's so important. Nicole is the one that will walk by in a robe with a martini in hand or a glass of wine. She will drop the robe and say, "I'll see you tomorrow, but I'll be in the hot tub." And honey, it makes me a better person. Seriously.
I'm a tired CEO.
You're a retired CEO, that's right. But honey, you bring a lot of fun and silliness to our lives, and I think to everybody in the room. All right. Okay, so again, I could go on and on about my wife. We're gonna cut this off here shortly. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Elaine Blonigan. Where's Elaine? Oh, so Elaine did so much work to help plan this event. I'm super busy. I did some, I'll call it minor decisions as it pertains to the party. Elaine was an absolute rock star, texting me with ideas and what are we going to do and what about fireball shots. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank Mark, Amkur, and the entire Castleman Country Club staff. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate what you guys do, so thank you. All right, so with that, everybody get a glass. Or a shot. All right, so raise your glasses. I'd like to make a final toast before we get this thing going in full gear. I'd like to toast to my soulmate, my lover and my best friend. Honey, I wish you many birdies as you embark on life's back nine. Cheers. All right, so unless anyone has anything else that they need to say, okay, well, yeah. The other thing too, the shot glasses actually are a little party favor, so make sure you take the shot glasses home with you. They don't say Castlewood Country Club, they say something else. All right, so unless anyone has anything left to say, all right, let's do it. Let's do some dancing, everybody.